Alright. Hey guys, what's up? It's Kyle9965 here. I'm doing a Raw review tonight. Um, yeah, so. Alright, so where do I start about the Raw review? Well, Raw opened up with Triple H, because, everyone last week had walked out on him in the no confidence thing. So Triple H comes in, opens up the show, and, there are no cameraman ringside, there are no commentators on the, announce table. And Triple H says, he doesn't care, if he has to wrestle the entire 2-hour show with the Broom, Monday Night Raw will still go on. And he made a funny, kind of took a jab at the young talent, like Triple H always does, but it was pretty funny. Where he says that he's faced some of the guys in the back, and truthfully, honestly, he'll have better. He knows he can have a better match with the broomstick than with some of those guys that he's wrestled with in the back. So I thought that was really funny. But he was just saying how everyone else, like Christian and everyone else, they had like a little picket thing out in the parking lot outside of Raw, and John Cena comes out and Sheamus comes out and tells Triple H that they're with them and that they'll be a part of Monday Night Raw. And then CM Punk comes out, and CM Punk, I thought, got a pretty good promo. Punk made the reference and saying of how it's amazing how things are starting to become interesting now is because of him. He's actually before Triple H became COO, when he was having this thing with Scout Boy John Cena. And I kind of laughed at that because, I made some videos talking about how, if WWE gets into a new era and if they get interesting, that the catalyst for that would be CM Punk, the domino effect. I said that for CM Punk to say that himself on TV tonight, I just kind of marked out. But anyway, so Punk was saying, he's, by Triple H as well. And so Triple H tells, he says, well, okay, we're going to have a show. He says, right now, it'll be John Cena versus Sheamus. I have the clothes on, so I guess I'll be the referee. And he said, CM Punk, you commentate. You can commentate by yourself. And so CM Punk was going on commentary. And I was kind of excited about that, because I was really interested, to see. I thought the way the show started, I thought it was pretty interesting, to see, like, how they're going to have a 2-hour show with 5 guys. Although probably, it's more likely expected that really wasn't going to happen. I mean, like, how can you have a 2-hour show with just 5 stars? But, it was interesting to see how, I liked how it kicked off. But, Punk being on commentary in the match between Sheamus and John Cena didn't last long because Vince McMahon comes back. And Vince McMahon comes back and, stops the match and says, tells Triple H that, he thinks Triple H has done a good job, but, to have the talent to walk out on Raw and, protest that they'll never come back, it's bad for business, it's bad for the Monday Night Raw show and pay-per-view buys and all this other stuff, and says that they've appointed someone else to take charge of Monday Night Raw. He says the shareholders of the WWE don't want anyone in the McMahon family related, or McMahon family related to run Monday Night Raw. So they've chosen Johnny Laurinaitis. And I laughed at this too because I knew Johnny Laurinaitis was going to have a big part in this. And, well, he's the general manager of Raw. So Johnny Ace, welcomes back all the talent and stuff like that, shaking their hands. And he makes the first match against, he makes the first match with John Morrison and Christian in their street clothes. And nothing really going on here. This match didn't really last long. But Christian ends up getting the victory over on John Morrison. And but as they were walking out, it was John Morrison coming out with Jack Swagger, Dolph Ziggler, and Cody Rhodes, along with Vicky Guerrero. The 4 of them coming together. And after Christian had beat John Morrison, the 4 of them, jumped on John Morrison and each doing their finisher moves on Jomo. So I'm starting to think maybe they're trying to form a faction with these 4 guys, with Christian, Swagger, Ziggler, and Cody Rhodes. They might form a faction with these 4 guys. And if they did, I don't think it necessarily might not be a bad idea. I might like these guys being together in a group. And then after that, we got a match between Mark Henry and Randy Orton. This match is, no different than any other Orton and Mark Henry match they've had. Excuse me. Mark Henry, actually, as they were fighting or whatever, I think, what's his name? Randy Orton was about to give Mark Henry the RKO, but then Cody Rhodes comes out, and Cody Rhodes interrupts the match, and it's because the match is interrupted. Cody Rhodes is just fighting Randy Orton. Randy Orton tries to give an RKO to Cody, but Cody reverses it and pushes him into Mark Henry, having Mark Henry to pick up Randy and dropping him with the World's Strongest Slam. And then after that, Mark Henry picked him up again and did another World's Strongest Slam. And then after that, Cody Rhodes jumped back in the ring and did the crossroads on Randy Orton. He got the crossroads on Randy Orton. Yeah. So I mean, that's it there. I'm not a big fan of Cody Rhodes. I'm still not on that Rhodes fan club, but I think it's good for him that he is getting this big push, and having him in a spot with Randy Orton in a program working with Randy, whether he wins or loses against Randy, I think it would help Cody more and push him more to have to work the program with Randy Orton. So it seems like that's what they're starting to go with now. After that, we got a tag match with trying to see here. We have tag matches with the Divas. Rosa Mendez and I forgot her partner's name. She's Jimmy Fly Snuka's daughter. I forgot her name. Against Kelly Kelly and Eve. Eve and Kelly Kelly won the match. Eve, Kelly Kelly, and Rosa Mendez look absolutely gorgeous as they always do. Except Superfly Snuka's daughter. She looks like my uncle. But yeah. Anyway, so another expression of the Divas tag match. I don't know. I kind of wish they'd do something a little bit different with the Divas. As much as I love Kelly and Eve, I kind of want to see some other Divas, like, getting some good matches, or something, get some type of TV time. And not even the Bella Twins. I mean, like AJ Lee, who I love, who's like my new fave now in WWE. Like, get AJ Lee or, I don't know. Maybe that goes to show you how kind of bad the Diva division is, or not Diva, but Diva roster. Anytime they just keep using Natalya, Phoenix, Eve, and Kelly Kelly, like those are their four main Divas that they constantly use. So obviously the Diva roster isn't that strong. But anyway, after the Divas match, John Laurinaitis comes out after the Diva match and says that John Cena will face Alberto Del Rio for the WWE Championship at Vengeance. So, so we got another Cena Del Rio match. After that, he also calls JR to the ring and tells Jim Ross that he's fired for walking out on Triple H and stuff like that. And I mind you guys to also remember this and pay attention that I think it was during the Divas match, Jerry King Lawler had said on commentary that Triple H is still the COO of WWE. He's just no longer running Monday Night Raw. That John Laurinaitis is the temporary general manager of Raw. So Triple H is still COO. He just no longer has control of Raw. So after that, we get in a 6-man tag match: Airboom and Mason Ryan versus David Otunga, Dolph Ziggler, and Jack Swagger. Mason Ryan got the win for him and Airboom. Mason Ryan looks impressive, Batista Jr. But wow, that guy has his muscles have muscles. I really wonder. No, you know what? I don't wonder, but 9 times out of 10, I very seriously doubt that guy is 100% natural. He's popping some pills. He's sticking his arms or something, because Mason Ryan does not look 100% natural to me. I mean, I just can't buy him. And, the same be went for Batista, but I don't know, just something about this guy. I don't know, but we'll see. But anyway, so after that, we get to the main event match, which was supposed to be CM Punk versus Alberto Del Rio. Well, after CM Punk and Alberto Del Rio fight for like 2 minutes, Johnny Ace comes out again and says, he orders the match to stop right now, and then after that he says, instead of being a singles match, it's going to be a tag match. Punk and Del Rio would team up against new reinstated talent, which was the return of Miz and R-Truth. So Miz and R-Truth are now back. So Miz and R-Truth fought Punk and Del Rio. Del Rio walked out on Punk towards the end of the match. He had walked out on Punk, and Punk was fighting solo, and looked like he had an actual chance of winning against Miz and Truth by himself. But after that, Miz and R-Truth just kept double teaming on him. Referee wanted them to break it up. They didn't. Match in the disqualification. They're still beating up on Punk. And then Triple H runs out, and Triple H helps Punk get rid of R-Truth and Miz. R-Truth and Miz run out of the building, and it's left in the ring with Triple H and CM Punk standing in the ring together. And we get to a backstage segment with Johnny Ace talking to David Otunga, saying that he's going to try to talk with the board of directors in WWE to see if they can book a match with Triple H and CM Punk versus R-Truth and Miz at Vengeance. So it'll be R-Truth and Miz versus CM Punk and Triple H. And it ends with Raw there. So all in all, I thought tonight was a good Raw. Considering what considering how they've ended last week, they had to do something big this week, to kind of answer some type of questions. That's the reasons for why they did some of the stuff they did last week. But yeah, I thought tonight was a good Raw. I kind of think tonight they kind of threw a little bit too much stuff at us, like at once. They kind of thrown like so much stuff at us at once. But other than that, like I think it was a good Raw. So I give Raw a pass tonight. Now I'm gonna do now that I've done my review on Raw, I'm gonna give my thoughts on tonight's Raw. Now my thoughts on tonight's Raw was that although I thought it was a really good show, I just think that it just kind of threw a lot of stuff all at once in one show. You know what I mean? Like, having Vince McMahon come back. Having Vince come back, and even though he wasn't, we still don't know if he was behind the screw job thing, but still, having Vince McMahon come back, and then have Johnny Ace to be announced as the general manager of Raw, and then the firing of Jim Ross, and then bringing back R-Truth and Miz. It's like they threw just like a lot of stuff in like one show. Like they threw too much at you in one time, and I don't know if that was really the right thing to do. And like I said, they probably, WWE was probably, the writers or whatever, they were probably in panic mode because the way Raw ended last week, it was just such a big show. It was such a big ending last week that they probably were like scrambling around for ideas and trying to figure out, okay, how can we like compensate for how can we follow, after that big ending we had on Raw last week. And so this week, they get Vince out an appearance, bring Johnny Ace as the new GM of Raw, and takes control other than Triple H, and having, Miz and R-Truth be reinstated, and JR fired. It's like they're doing a lot. And then have Triple H partner up with Punk against Truth and Miz at the pay-per-view in 2 weeks. So like they're just kind of just like throwing a lot of stuff just like all at once. How can I say this? I think Johnny Laurinaitis, I think he's going to be an official on-air character, because I had done some research on some stuff, and come to find out Johnny Laurinaitis is in reality, Johnny Laurinaitis is no longer the executive vice president of talent relations. WWE has hired someone new to be a part of the talent relations and stuff like that. It's some lady who she does some type of she had worked in like programs, I think, for like golf and like booking like golf, like legitimate like golfing events and stuff like that. The PGA Tour, whatever those golf tournaments are called, with Tiger Woods and stuff. Like she would book events like that, and she was in charge of big events like that and stuff like that. So WWE has hired a new talent relations executive vice president of talent relations and contracts and all that other stuff. So this is actually real. However, although on TV Johnny Ace says he's still the executive vice president of talent relations, I think that's just part of his character. I think they're making Johnny Ace just a character on TV now, because legitimately in real life he's really not the vice president of talent relations. They've hired a new person, a woman, to take over that position, which I can probably understand, because I couldn't see as much time as Johnny Ace has been spending on Raw, and even on TV since Money in the Bank, how he could be a part of that and yet be a part of dealing with 100 guys in the company, dealing with their contracts and stuff like that. So I kind of it's not a surprise to me that WWE has a new executive vice president of talent relations in real life. But I don't know if they should have brought back Miz and R-Truth back tonight. I really don't know. It was a little bit of a surprise, but I'm not sure if they should have brought them back just yet. Now I know the IWC, they're going to, after seeing Raw tonight, they're probably going to crap all over this. I bet you. After I'm done doing this, after I'm done with this video, I'm gonna look up some videos on YouTube, because there's some guys I know from the IWC, and I know they're gonna complain like crazy about tonight's Raw. They're probably gonna complain and mope and gripe and say, oh, they rushed the storyline, or WWE blew this whole angle up. They blew it up. They had something good. Now they've ruined it. I expect the YWC, not YWC, but IWC, the Internet Wrestling Community, I expect them to be vivid. Although I think some stuff on tonight's Raw, I think was, like I said, was kind of thrown at you at once. And I think they kind of, like they just put a lot of stuff on here at once. I still thought it was a good show, and to me, I'm still interested. It still has me in tune of watching Raw, because, okay, even though Johnny Ace is now the general manager of Raw, it more likely probably is safe to say that he's the one that's pulling the strings, but I don't know. I still, with Vince McMahon making an appearance tonight, I still think Vince has his hand in the cookie jar. I still think Vince is still going to be a part of the storyline somehow, some way. I don't know. But to have John Laurinaitis as general manager, I think it's kind of, I think everyone kind of speculated Johnny Ace to be a part of this in some form or fashion, because I had brought out a point in one of my past videos. I don't know how long ago it was, but I made the point of how, like, since the United Champions pay-per-view, after he had talked with Miz and R-Truth, he would text, like, every backstage segment he had, he would always text someone on the phone. And this started at the Night of Champions pay-per-view, and then every other Raw following up until now, he would always text someone on the phone. And then if you also look at Night of Champions pay-per-view, when Miz and R-Truth were getting involved in the Triple H Punk match, when Punk had Triple H pinned, if you remember, when Punk had Triple H pinned, Johnny Ace quickly took the referee and threw the referee in the ring so that the referee could count, so that Triple H could lose his position as COO. So I think it's pretty much safe to say that Johnny Ace is the one that's behind, Triple H's, screw job. Maybe it was Johnny Laurinaitis who spoke, who had R-Truth and Miz to attack Triple H and Night of Champions and to cause them to keep doing the stuff that they did so that they could get fired and still beat up on all the talent, although they're unemployed, but beat up all the guys and stuff like that to have people doubt Triple H's leadership as COO so that they could lose confidence, so that the board of directors can appoint Johnny Ace as the man in charge of Raw, and now he's hired R-Truth and Miz back. So maybe it was Johnny Ace, like I said, all along with all this stuff. And then also that maybe it was Johnny Ace who doesn't want CM Punk to be WWE champion, because remember when in Money in the Bank, when Vince McMahon was walking out and called Johnny Ace to ring the bell to try to screw Punk out to win the title, but John Cena beat up Johnny Ace, he was upset. Now, for a lot of us who were there at the Money in the Bank Live, a lot of you guys who do not know this or realize this, but for all of us who were at the Money in the Bank Live pay-per-view, when everything was said and done after Punk won the title and left, Vince McMahon had punched Johnny Laurinaitis. Johnny Laurinaitis had gotten up. He had punched him as they were walking up the ramp and started beating up Johnny Laurinaitis. Now, a lot of you guys who had ordered the pay-per-view and saw this on TV, you did not see this because this happened after the pay-per-view went off air. So only us who were there live at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view saw this when Vince McMahon had punched Johnny Laurinaitis for, I guess, quote-unquote, failing to, get the guy to ring the bell to screw Punk over. So maybe it was Johnny Laurinaitis who had Kevin Nash screw Punk at SummerSlam and had R-Truth and Miz to interfere in the Punk and Triple H match and Night of Champions to cause Triple H to fire them and then to have them invade, Raw and beat up on the talent so that people could lose faith in Triple H so that Johnny Ace can be in the position that he's in now. I'm just thinking about all these different incidents. I'm just kind of putting it together here. So you let me know what you guys think about that scenario. So, yeah, all in all, like I said, although I thought a lot of stuff was kind of thrown out at once, I still thought tonight was a good show for Raw. And I still think, for me at least, it still has me tuned in to watch. The only thing that does not make sense to me is that although Triple H is still the COO of WWE, how is it that a general manager can give a command and put a COO, his boss, and book him in a match? I don't get that. Although, in the end of that segment of Raw, he did say that he would speak to the board of directors to see if he can get Triple H and involved in a tag match with Punk against Truth and Miz at Vengeance. But still, I don't know. It just doesn't kind of make sense. I don't know. But let me know what you guys thought about tonight's Raw. Let me know what you think about my thoughts and opinions, on this angle and how it's going. So comment, subscribe, like the video. Peace out.